Good evening. Happy Sunday evening, everybody. I wonder if this is a good time for people. I have no idea if this is a good time for people or not, but I didn't want to bombard my face with blue light today, and I also didn't feel like bombarding y'all's face with blue light today. So I have some red light ambiance so you guys aren't messing up your circadian rhythms by watching me. So we're on some red light vibes today. I kind of like the idea of doing Sunday night lives a little bit. Can y'all maybe put a 1 in the chat if this is a good time for you? If you plan on rocking with me tonight, maybe put a 1 in the chat just so I know. I just want to know. I want to be able to go live at times where people, resonate with it. So if not, I'm still going to talk tonight. But anyways, good evening, everybody. Thank you for the red light, Tori. You are welcome. You are oh so welcome. It's healing for me too. It is absolutely healing for me. I love that you guys like this time. Christina, hey. Lupita, Sarah, hey. I know your at name now. Malika, is that how you say your name? Malika? Cool name. I have a lot of friends named like Malika and things, so similar to that too. All right, y'all. I wish you could see my vibey setup right now, but like the vibes in front of me are absolutely immaculate. We have French press brewing the tea. Also, guys, let me know if the audio is good. Is this audio good with this mic here? Am I going to be satisfied with this audio? Let me know that. But like I said, we got the French press going with the tea. This is a kidney tea blend from one of my favorite herbalists. She makes these blends and they taste so good. Then we have the electric tea kettle right here, y'all. See that? This has scorching hot water in it. And that is so I have unlimited tea supply when I start to drink this after it brews. And this is filled with like half normal temperature distilled water, so I can fill up this and even out the temp because this is boiling hot. Now, this is the tea setup, right? This is the setup that I recommend because the electric tea kettle removes any barrier across using a microwave or having to warm stuff up on the stove. The electric tea kettle is elite. And then in the French press, I don't use any sort of bags, any sort of tea bags, right? Those can have chemicals in them. I don't use tea bags. This makes everything easy. And these are originally meant for coffee, but for tea and loose leaf herbs, look at that. Beautiful, incredible. All right. Who do you get your tea from? I get my tea from a lot of different people. I use stovetop kettle. Oof. Liz, the electric tea kettle is a game changer. Game changer. Electric tea kettle, this brand is Hamilton Beach. I think this one was $60 from Target, if I recall correctly. And it has this base, this just like plate, metal plate that you plug into the wall that pops on top. It can go anywhere on your counter. In theory, I could plug it in right onto this wall while I'm sitting on the couch and have the base right here to keep that warm. It can go anywhere with you. And then this French press is from Amazon, yeah. But I've also seen them at Target. Now, I wish my French press was bigger. Like, this is only a 20-ounce French press. I wish this was like a 40-ounce French press, so I don't have to keep refilling and refilling and refilling. But you can usually get 2 or 3 steeps out of loose leaf herbs. That is something very important to know, so you guys don't waste your loose leaf herbs. I'm going to go through this one time. I'll fill it up again with boiling water, steep it a second time, and then, depending on how I feel about it, if I'm like okay with just drinking like a third pass through, then awesome. But if I want it more potent again, then I will refresh the herbs. But at least 2 steeps you can get out of that. Now, y'all should be drinking tea daily. Don't forget that, please. Daily, every day, every single day. The herbs are what keep you nourished. When people are depleted on a detox diet or a plant-based diet or any type of diet, right, where our food is now succumbed to, unfortunately, the lack of minerals. Like if you're buying food from Walmart, if you're buying food from Aldi, if you're buying food from mainstream stores out here that are not farmers, that are not farmers markets, our food is depleted of minerals. And what is such a key pillar that our ancient people used to consume every single day in their lives that we don't regularly do now? Consume herbs. Foraging herbs, wild crafting herbs. You know these terms, right? All of these terms, none of us as humans do anymore. And we are missing herbs as an entire food group now. We've lost the knowledge of herbs as a food group. They're more than medicinal. Of course they're medicinal, but we need them for the minerals, right? Minerals and rebalancing of the body. Okay, let's get into the topic of tonight because I decided to go live randomly and like put a schedule up on my story because I have a lot to say about this topic. Are you relying on others for your healing, right? The other way to say this is, are you outsourcing your healing? Now, I want to tell you a little bit about myself before I found this life and before I, got to this point in this life that I live now, this type of healing life. And I used to be a hypochondriac. That is the word for this. Hypochondriac, okay? Any single time I had a symptom pop up in my body, I would get anxious to the point where I could not sleep. I would have to Google it to the death, like literally. Every single thing on the internet just filled my mind of what possible answers were to any symptom or sign that started popping up on my body. Now, let me give you a couple examples here. Okay? The first example that I remember extremely clearly is I had a cyst like on the right side of my boob, and it was kind of under my armpit, but like kind of next to my breast, right in that like middle section there. And we have, mind you, we have a ton of lymph nodes in that area. Okay? So when I felt that, and it was like a nodule, it was kind of hard, but I can tell it was underneath the skin, and I was like, immediately, is this cancer? Is this a tumor? What is this? It hurt when I touched it. It got super swollen. The swelling wasn't going down. I gave it a couple days, but during those couple days, I was researching. And what does the internet tell us? The internet tells us this might be a precancerous cyst. This might be a malignant cyst. This might be this. This might be that. There's no answer unless you get surgery. You have to cut it out and la on the internet. If you guys relate to that, trust me, I relate to that. That was literally me, okay? So I hounded my doctors, mainstream doctors. Give me an x-ray, give me blood testing, give me anything, right? Do that. Now, guys, I'm also talking about, this is many years ago. So, Liz, you're saying probably wasn't anything cut back on caffeine and chocolate, unless you're talking about your own experience. Like, this was many years ago, right? And obviously it wasn't anything, which is the point of the story and what I'm getting into. So, hounded my doctors for x-rays, hounded my doctors for everything, because I needed an answer, right? Now, this is one of the things where when you don't have the knowledge of your body, when you don't have the knowledge that any symptom or imbalance in your body is because of your choices, right? Your choices. Now, of course, when we say statements like this, it's so funny, because I was listening to Dennis Prager, if y'all know who that is from PragerU. He has a show called The Fireside Chat, and I listened to this with my dad. And I was listening to this episode, and he makes like statements, right? He makes statements, but then always has to give some whack disclaimer, and it's like, guys, even though I'm making a statement that applies to 90% of you, there are still always going to be those particular cases, okay? So when I say when I say that when we don't have knowledge of our bodies, right? When we don't have knowledge of our bodies and we are scouring the internet for answers when in reality it's all based on our own choices, right? Any symptom or imbalance is based on our choices of what we put in our mouth, of what we do with our movement, of what we do with our bodies, of how we live our life, of how we take care of our mind, of how we handle trauma, of how we heal. Of course, there are the people with crazy genetic stuff. Of course, there are kids who come out with crazy imbalances, but it's probably because their parents' choices, right? So that choice was it's still somebody's choice. You feel what I'm saying? So most of the time, any imbalance in your body is because of your own choices. And when we go to the internet, and when we go to doctors, and when we go to all of those people, and x-rays, and CT scans, and MRIs, and all of those things, colonoscopies, what is that truly doing for us? What is that doing for us? If we can feel the imbalance in our body, if we can feel the cyst, if we can feel the tumor, if we can see the rash, if we can feel the yeast infection, if we can see the athlete's foot, if we can feel the interstitial cystitis, if we can feel the pain of the endometriosis and feel the fibroids and recognize the infertility, if we can do all of that, what is all of the testing and the x-rays and the this and the that really doing for us? I'm just curious if y'all have any thoughts. So I was thinking about this in the car today. I was like, I have to talk about this. Now, the reason why this is so prevalent is because I know someone who reminds me of myself before I embarked into this journey, and they're actively on a detox diet. They're actively trying to heal. They have completely depleted their body by going way too extreme at one point, 100% fruit and juicing, and not doing it right, okay? So what's happening? They're trying to damage control. However, this person tests their urine for protein all the time, freaks out when their bowel movements aren't consistent every day. I guess it would just be for confirmation. Okay, so what's the title of this live? Are you relying on others for your healing? If you need, right, and I'm not saying it's a bad thing, if you need the confirmation, the answer is always going to be the same. Always going to be the same. Whether you have someone in front of me who has a cyst somewhere, they recognize it's a cyst, they feel the cyst, they're like, hey, Tori, I think this is a cyst. Versus someone who has that same thing, I went to the MRI, I went to the CT scan, the doctor felt this, they took a mammogram, they did this, and they told me it was a cyst. One person spent $20,000 and wasted their time going to 1, 2, 3, 4 appointments. The other person, hey, so I think I have a cyst. I can tell there's a little imbalance. I know I have to do the same thing no matter what, because those two people have to do the same thing no matter what to get rid of their problem. It's just one person trusts themselves, trusts their healing process, trusts their intuition, trusts their attunement with their body, and the other person is not in touch with them, their bodies giving them the answer, is not in touch with their bodies telling them the path, needs external confirmation to make sure they're not crazy. The more that I'm talking about this out loud, I feel like it's kind of a hot take, but like, The testing give doctors a reason to give us fear. They're like car salesmen or crooked mechanics. If you don't know better, they're going to get one over. The more I know about my body, the better it gets. It's called freedom. I like these comments. And now, I never, ever, ever hate on individual doctors, right? Individual doctors. Never. Because the individual people are amazing. But just like we have here, we are conditioned to do that. I've always been hesitant, then been made to feel like I'm a witch for not feeling aligned with the machines and chemicals. I don't know if I've said this story probably once before. My autoimmune doctors, from when I had my entire thing that put me on this health journey, right? The thing that I had chemo for, all of that autoimmune journey, I had the top doctors in the East Coast, the top hematologists in the East Coast as my doctors, okay? And when I went to them at the brink of recognizing I could no longer keep doing rounds and rounds of chemo, and I wanted to try herbs and I wanted to do other stuff, when I said those things to them, I was laughed out of that office and then called 3 months later when I had COVID, and they said, "Did you get your jab yet? We told you so. Are you in the hospital? I'm surprised you're not in the hospital." Huh? I did chemo 4 years ago. If you guys are new to this page, I did chemo 4 years ago before I found this life, right? 4 years ago before I found this life. Because I had an autoimmune response to where my entire body started bleeding out as a reaction to a malaria medication. So I was injured by a pharmaceutical drug, and it caused my entire body to start bleeding out. And I was shipped to the top hematologists in the entire side of New England because this type of reaction was so rare, and they had rarely seen cases of it in particular. And they started to throw everything at it under the sun. Took primary literature studies and were like, we're just going to try it. So when I was forced, right? When I was forced to finally cut the relationship with the top blood doctors for an extremely rare blood condition that I don't have, reaction to a medication. It was triggered by a medication. That was not, you know what I'm saying, right? I was forced to do that at the time where I was most vulnerable in my entire life. Completely unknown. Completely unknown. Completely unknown disease, completely unknown trajectory. I decided to just pull the plug on chemo. They told me every day, you need chemo to prevent this in the future. This is going to happen to you again. I was in a hospital bed for 2 weeks. For 2 weeks straight, and I couldn't walk, I couldn't shower, I couldn't stand up, I couldn't do anything. Could not do anything. I had tubes out my neck, getting my blood filtered out of my body, right? Someone says, how long did it take you to get all the poison out of your system? It's still in my system. And do you know how I know that it's in my system? Is because my face still breaks out. My face still breaks out with these cystic things that are in my lymphatic system. And I only had acne flare up after chemotherapy. Rounds and rounds and rounds. Like 8 months of chemotherapy straight. And then of course my lymphatic system can't handle it and my whole skin starts to blow up, right? It's still in my system. I've been actively detoxing for 2.5 years, y'all, and it's still in my system. So that brings me to this point. In some of my, circles, people who are on detox, they'll say comments or be like, oh, well, here's just examples, right? And I'm not judging. That's why I'm doing this live for this purpose, because I understand why people get scared, but I need people to also understand what they're getting themselves into. So people are like, oh, on detox, my period is like a couple of days late, my period shifted, my cycle shifted. Oh, on detox, my bowel movements aren't solid anymore. They started to become looser. My bowel movements are super, super dark, or super, super green, or super, super yellow. I started noticing patches of eczema come up on my palms or my skin. What else we got? Those are some examples, okay? Now I need to tell you guys, we are actively choosing to bring our body into some of the deepest levels of healing out there, right? I bring people through the 3 things that you require to get to the deepest levels of healing. And what are those? Changing your diet, herbal support to flush every system of the body, and really pumping yourself with different body treatments to get all of these toxins out of you manually, in addition to internally through diet and herbs, right? We tackle this across all facets. And when you're actively choosing to do that, right? Like, think about the difference between your routine not in detox versus a routine in detox. A routine not in detox. Okay, I wake up, I have some avocado toast, or let me have some like Greek yogurt with fruit on it. My lunch is like a sandwich. I go to work, I smoke weed after I get out of work, I maybe work out, take my protein shake after, right? This is someone who's just like out there living, right? But when you detox, right? Because this is most of y'all's first ever detox. Y'all are just coming off of this life. You know, of course there are some of you aren't, but y'all are just coming off of this life. First ever detox. And all of a sudden your routine looks like fruit in the morning, smoothies every day, herbal teas, sauna, dry brushing, enemas. What is the difference between that? The difference between those 2 things are, one of them is actually starting to shake up and shift and purge toxins, because their routine is starting to stimulate the release of all the toxins that have been suppressed and embedded into your system, versus the other way is you kept all those things just suppressed and sitting there, right? So when you're actively choosing to stir up to that degree, to release to that degree, to escort out toxins to that degree, do you think everything in your body is going to stay the same when you are actively choosing to drop into the deep levels of detox? Do you think your body is going to stay the same? Thank you, Undine. The answer is no. The answer is no. How are your bowel movements going to stay exactly the same when it's one of the most major elimination pathways and we are all of a sudden stirring up and dumping the most things out of the body? Your colon is one of the major trash chutes for your body. And all of a sudden it has a plethora of things that are being dumped into it to leave. Are your bowel movements going to be perfectly colored and perfectly regulated when you have toxic sludge desperately trying to get itself out? No. No. Your bowels are going to be releasing whenever they have to release as you're shaking stuff up everywhere. Right? Let's think about another example. Women. My females. Our menstrual cycle is a way that our body eliminates old things, right? That is a type of elimination. So, someone with fibroids, someone with endometriosis, PCOS, hormone imbalance, infertility, irregular periods, clotty periods, super dark periods. There is an imbalance and accumulation of waste around the reproductive system, right? So when we're actively in detox, how in the world is your menstrual cycle, which has adapted to your previous life, your menstrual cycle has regulated to your previous lifestyle, your previous life, how is that going to stay exactly the same when your entire body is becoming different, right? Symptoms that pop up on detox are not long-term indicators of permanent symptoms. If your period is longer or shorter during active detox, when you are actively, I cannot express this enough, actively shifting and changing the internal environment of your body on detox, why would you expect everything to stay the same in your body? Now, as long as you're detoxing, this is the side note, as long as you are detoxing the right way, you are consuming enough food, you are maintaining minerals, and you are not depleting down, if you are doing all of that, and it is confirmed that you are doing all of that, what else really matters? What else really matters? What else really matters? It is challenging. The regenerative process can be challenging. That's exactly what Liz is saying. And I was just talking with my mentor about this, and I said this on another live. Me and her were talking, and we were like, it is an art to be able to purify and cleanse the body without depleting. It is an art to understand when and how to use certain types of fasting without depleting. It is art to recognize what types of herbs you need when, and what type of mono meals you need when, and when the digestive system needs to be eased up on, and when it needs to be supported, and when castor oil needs to support the liver, and when the lymph needs some flushing. It is an art to figuring that out. Which is why I sit up here and just do what I do, because I'm trying to give you guys all of the information that is in my brain to where this has become an art for me. I do this with no questions. I do this like the back of my hand on my own body. I do detoxing with no negative symptoms and no negative reactions because I went through everything already. It is an art to me. There is anything that happens to my body, which is rare, anything that pops up on my body, I have almost a negative freak out about it. It's like an opposite of a freak out. It's like, oh, okay, let's learn the lesson of how to remedy this. It is literally the opposite of a freak out. I was just saying to someone recently, I was like, oh, why is my period kind of late right now? You know, there was no other reason why my period was late. The volume of food you guys see me eating, the amount of minerals I consume, the herbs, the everything. Oh, my period all of a sudden, whatever. But guess what happened? Guess what it was? I was all of a sudden syncing up with the full moon. As a female, we sync up with the moon cycles, or ideally, when our body is clean and in tune, and our pineal gland is in tune, right? We sync up with the moon cycles. When you start to clean out your body, you naturally sync up with the moon cycles. So I was like, oh, suddenly I went from new moon to full moon, which is why my period was a little off. Is that concerning? Does that feel concerning to you, me syncing up with a new moon cycle? That's not concerning. That's the last bit concerning. It's a beautiful thing, right? So when you're actively on detox and stuff starts to happen, but you know you're doing most things right, okay? And it's funny because the title of this live is, Are You Relying on Others for Your Healing? I don't rely on anyone else for my healing because of the knowledge that I have already, right? I was once at the point where I freaked out over doctors. I freaked out needing x-rays. I freaked out demanding lab tests. I freaked out. I was there. And the reason why I was there is because I did not have the level of information that I do now. And because I have the level of information that I do now, I am so attuned to what's happening in my body that nothing freaks me out. Nothing. And the reason why I do this is so you guys get to the level of information where you recognize you have to freak out about nothing. And that is ultimate freedom. When you are not chained down, by this unknown of your internal environment. Because trust me, I know what the anxiety feels like when you are dealing with something inside of you that you can feel but you can't see and you can't quite articulate and you don't know what the root cause is, and you're outsourcing and doctor and second opinion and x-ray and whatever, and these people are just throwing numbers at you and throwing this and throwing diagnoses and doing this and doing that. It's crazy. It's crazy and unnecessary. Let me go through some comments now that I'm done with that spiel. Honey, preach. Thank you, Undine, for being here. For those of us who are not as knowledgeable as you of this art, does your detox program walk us through it step by step? Of course it does. Of course it does do that. And because you guys can't learn this in one detox that's your first ever detox, it's also a container of ongoing support. How do you remedy colds? How do you remedy flus? How do I rebalance this? How do I remineralize? How do I grow hair back? How do I grow nails back? How do I restore absorption? How do I parasite cleanse 3 or 4 times a year like I'm supposed to? How do I seasonally cleanse? How do I cleanse with the seasons? How do I cleanse with the moon cycles? How do I cleanse? How do I maintain? How do I heal? How do I do this? How do I fast? Of course it does. Of course it teaches you this. I appreciate connecting with your page and so grateful to be joined with your live. Liz, thank you. I've not seen you on here before, but I like your vibes in here. I like your vibes in here. Someone asked, why do my periods come early? I do eat healthy and eat a lot of veggies. Okay, guys, so think about these statements. Why do you think my periods come early? I do healthy, I eat healthy lately, and a lot of veggies. What do I always say? There's a difference between healthy and healing. Have you ever done a full detox protocol? Have you ever actually removed the waste from your body? Are you eating enough food? Are you eating food that's high in minerals? Are you eating depleted food? Are you relying on coffee? Are you using any sort of processed food? There's so much that comes to this. Healthy versus healing. Very two different things, y'all. Very two different things. And if you have imbalances of your body and you've already started to try to eat healthy and you're recognizing, okay, wait, why do I still have this symptom and I started to eat healthy? That means you need to go deeper. That's exactly my process over the last 4 years. 4 years. The second I had chemo, this process began. Oh, wait. How do I start healing? Eating healthy isn't getting me what I wanted. Let me go in deeper. Eating the next thing isn't getting me what I wanted. Let me go in deeper. Finding the next thing isn't what I quite wanted. Go in deeper. Of course, there are tiny little things that heal in the meantime. Tiny things. You feel better with energy, right? Bowel movements probably start to regulate. Blood sugar kind of looks good. Cholesterol comes down when you start to eat healthy, but it's not healing, right? You still have cysts. You still have the fibroids. You still have the PCOS. You still have the prostate cysts. You still have the colon polyps. You still have the nasal polyps. You still have all the things, right? Eating healthier obviously isn't cutting it. So where do you go to? Where do you drop into? There's still an entire life of healing you guys haven't even discovered yet. Why is my cycle 25 days and I've been detoxing? Have you been detoxing the right way? Have you been detoxing the right way? I also love your name. Iris is a beautiful name. Edie's, amazing. On my way to oncology tomorrow. Bless you, my friend. I promise you there is another way. I'm very in tune with my body. I love that energy. I didn't realize I was detoxing wrong until practitioners like Tori. Amazing. Just here to spread the message, y'all. That's all I'm here to do. Just here to spread the message. Good questions today. Slightly off topic, but just wondering, what brand of spirulina wheatgrass do you use / recommend? The brand is called Purium. The website can, maybe Undine, can you put it in the chat for me? iShopPurium.com, code DetoxTori. iShopPurium.com, code DetoxTori gives you $50 off your first order of 75 or more. It is the highest quality, most potent, non-filler, completely organic wheatgrass and spirulina out there. Okay? And your first purchase, if you hit 75, comes all the way down to 25 with $50 off. So, like, it's a no-brainer. That's for everyone on here. Now, I just saw a comment come through that is absolutely wild. Let me pin it quickly. Just joined. I've been without my cycle for over a year. Someone said it's a good thing. What's the title of today's live? What's the title of today's live? Are you relying on others for healing? Are you outsourcing your healing? So a couple questions for you. You've been without your cycle for over a year. Was this a man that you heard this from? That's my first question to you. And I would love the answer. I would love this to be an engaging conversation so we can make sure that your body is okay, right? Was that person a man? You guys, the internet is an insane place. And it's so either contradictory or counterintuitive that I also use the internet. My mentor uses the internet. One of my peers, Jedi, uses the internet to get this type of message out here of like actual balance to the body, right? When you have people saying females shouldn't get periods, that's unnatural. Human females have always gotten their period. If you read the books by the women master healers, two of them, Queen Afua and Frida Sharon, they will never, ever, ever tell you that not having your period is a good thing. They will never say that. Ever. So, that's really my comment about that. Thank you so much for putting stuff in the chat for me, guys. I appreciate that so much. Do you think smoothie fasts are a good place to start when needed to clean out? No. As a man, I am laughing. They said because a woman loses chi energy via menstruation. I don't know if you answered if it was a man or not who you were listening to. I don't see that answer here, if it was a man or not who you were listening to. Sorry, I might need to scroll down. I still don't have an answer. I don't anticipate that person was a woman, right? Females lose chi energy via menstruation. A woman's period is a vital sign to us. A woman's period tells us the only indication we have of our fertility. Yes, it was a man. Okay, there we go. Farida Sharan is the other word. Farida Sharan is the other master, right? You got to read their books, y'all. If you are women, you have to read their books. You cannot keep listening to men. I promise you cannot keep listening to men. Because these men did not learn it from women. They did not. Have you ever done a juice fast? If so, did you notice your digestive system clean out? Of course I've done a juice fast. I've done very long juice fasts. My digestive system definitely cleans out. Absolutely. I talked about this on a couple other lives about this whole thing about periods and stuff. And all of these questions are so relevant to the title of today's live, which is, are you relying on others for your healing? Because some of these questions that are happening, and I'm not judging. I'm saying it's like the internet's fault. It is the fault of the fact that this society is putting person after person after person after person, content after content after content after content, and everyone's competing for y'all's attention. Everyone is competing for y'all's attention. So think about that. This woman in here just said, I've gone a year without my period and a man said it was a good thing. My love, do you intuitively feel that it's a good thing that you haven't had your period for a year? Ladies, would you intuitively truly feel that not having your period for a year is a good thing? Can you please answer me that, ladies? Is not having your period for a year a good thing? No, of course it's not a good thing. Do you know why it's not a good thing? If you're not getting your period, it means your body doesn't have enough iron. If you're not getting your period, it means that your body doesn't have enough minerals. If you're not getting your period, it means your hormones are not imbalanced. Your adrenal glands, your pituitary gland, your ovaries are not in balance. Depending on how old you are, of course. Of course, depending on how old you are. Obviously, depending on how old you are. But everyone knows who and what we're talking about now in this conversation. Actually, I shouldn't assume that. We're talking about females who are actively in their fertile age, pre-menopause, post-puberty. That's the very specifics who we're talking about. If y'all need help discerning, right? I blame the way that society is requiring people to compete for y'all's attention. Because even my videos, right? If y'all only watched my reels, if you only watch the reels, you will be confused on how all of this fits together. I know I go into more in depth about some actual root causes and things compared to some people's reels, right? I can't find wheatgrass on the Purium website unless it's in, yes, Kamut Blend. Yes, Kamut Blend is your wheatgrass because it gives you a blend of alfalfa as well, which is very, very high in minerals. The Kamut Blend is the wheatgrass. If you guys are ordering from Purium right now, I would recommend getting the big bag of organic spirulina powder and then the family size bag of the Kamut Blend. That will get you an order over $75. You have 2 massive bags coming to you, and then your order will come down all the way to $25 with $50 off if you use code DetoxTori. Spirulina and wheatgrass are your saving grace for 2 reasons. They are extremely high and potent in minerals, and they are extremely potent in chlorophyll, which cleans the blood, okay? It's 99% egoism. I love that statement because also this is what I was thinking about in the car on the way here. And my mentor has instilled this in me. Haley has instilled this in me. She's like, I find it weird, like coaches or practitioners who call themselves healers, or people in this space who call themselves healers. That's weird, and that's egotistical. Is 454 grams the big bag? It should say family size. Yeah, if you find, 454 is pretty large, so I think so. I think that's the right one. People who call themselves healers. Oh, I'm a healer. What do you do? What do you do for a living? Oh, I'm a healer. Doesn't that sound egotistical in itself? I'm a healer. Oh, I'm a healer. Now, this has been validated 2 more times in my life that are extremely significant. The first time was me hearing my mentor in one of the very first sessions. Is kamut gluten-free? Yes, any wheatgrass is gluten-free. They have to put a label on there because technically wheatgrass has the word wheat in it. It is completely gluten-free. You are fine. You are absolutely fine. LOL, yeah. Yeah, it does sound egotistical to say, I'm a healer. And like I was saying, this has been validated for me 3 times now in my life. That is so significant that it weirds me out when I see people call themselves that, and I almost can't even take them seriously when I see them call themselves that. Sorry. The 2 other times, second one was, I was in Panama recently, right? That concept, I have never called myself that. I do not even resonate with that. My mentor instilled that in me from the very first time I took a class with her because of how much ego is behind that statement. Because we are not doing anything to heal you. I am giving you the information that I have gotten by healing myself and just teaching you it from my experience and my experience helping other one's body and this type of body and that type of body. I'm just teaching you everything I need, everything that I know. I'm teaching you everything that I've studied. I'm sharing that information for you to heal your body. And of course, the foundational thing can have a nice protocol to it. Of course it can. Because what is that? You guys following a nice protocol that I package up for you and deliver, what does that do? That makes it easy for you to learn it. It makes it easy for you to apply everything and learn everything step by step like it should be. Instead of, what are you going to do? Just look at all the lives and watch all the reels and hope to make sense of it and put it all together in a way that actually works? You guys are going to be confused. I was confused until I started reading and I had my own guides. I had my own teachers. I've had teacher after teacher after teacher. I've asked question after question after question. I've learned in my own body through trial and error. That's the only way. That's the only way. I don't speak on anything I have not had or tried in my body. Okay, let me continue. The second time was recently when I visited Dr. Aris Latam in Panama. Okay, he is the master raw food chef ever, right? Sun-fired farm, okay? Fully raw vegan chef, does this thing, trains other people how to cook this way, created an entire culinary art of raw food cooking. So I spent a day with him in Panama. And I asked him, towards the very end of our time together, we were together like 6 hours cooking and talking. I asked him at the end of our time together, I said to him, doing what you do you ever feel vulnerable to people's energies? Do you ever feel like you're almost getting some sort of like energy exchange around people with disease or dealing with so many illnesses or sicknesses or whatever. That's kind of what I asked him. His response to that question, my question to him, as someone who's young coming up in this space, right? That's the one question I ask all the masters every time. Do you ever feel any type of way about this energy exchange happening between you and people who are dealing with illness and sickness? Do you ever feel any type of way is the best way I can put it, right? His response to that question was, I'm not a healer. I give people the tools, and they either do it or they don't do it. I'm not a healer. When I heard the answer to that question, I was like, That's what we're talking about. That is what we're talking about. And now the third time was also very recent. I talked about it. It was so profound to me, meeting my most recent chiropractor and seeing the way that he was teaching me as a client about the importance of your spine and the structure, and how if you have any pinched nerves because your spinal alignment is out of place, it can reduce gland and organ function 30 to 40% reduction if you have any nerves that have impeded communication because they run through the spinal cord and that structure is interrupted. When he was explaining this to me, in that same spiel, he also says, God gave you a body and your body's going to heal itself. I'm just helping you put it in alignment, and God's going to do it. Your body's going to do it. I'm not a healer. He said those same things too. The same things. I'm not a healer. I don't heal you. When people come into his office, he gets uncomfortable when people say, you cured me. Thank you so much. You healed me. You cured me. He's like, I get uncomfortable. I don't claim that. So 3 of the most profound experiences in my life, to the point where, do you go to a chiropractor to get out the pinched nerves? Yes, that's the place you go. Yep. If you suspect you have any pinched nerves or reduced communication in nerve flow to anywhere in your body, the chiropractor is where you go, because it all starts in the spinal cord, right? Most people want to depend. Ooh, what a sentence. Most people want to depend. And that's the problem, right? That's the problem. Are you relying on others for your healing? Some people do want to rely. Some people don't want to understand what it looks like to have their own independent experiences, right? Some people will take a protocol, right? As a practitioner, let me give you guys a little insight on something. As a practitioner, the foundations of detox are always the same every single time. The foundations of detox are always the same. If you take a foundational protocol with no guidance, which is why I have never put out a protocol with 0 guidance. Do you know why? Because that is dangerous. There is always guidance attached to the protocol, whether it's the beginner's detox, where it's the intermediate detox, or where it's the advanced detox. Those are the 3 things that I offer, right? Every single one of those, you don't even have the option to get it without talking to my team at all. You don't have the option to get it without communicating with the practitioner or coach. And the reason why that is because you can no way, shape, or form take a cookie cutter foundational protocol, cut and dry, apply it to everyone's body across the board, and expect it to work every single time. Because do you know what differs? What differs is, how depleted are you? How much were you able to build your body up before you started this process? How often in your routine are you able to do these body treatments? How stressed are you at work? How many people are you cooking for? How much are you able to eat throughout the day? How often are you able to take your herbs? How often are you able to relax your mind? How many hours of sleep are you getting? All of that changes when your herbs are introduced, how often you're going to dose herbs, the type of body support that you need in terms of flushing elimination pathways. That changes the speed that you drop into a detox diet, that changes the amount of minerals you consume, that changes the amount of seed or nut milks you need, that changes whether you're steamed vegetables or all raw. It changes every single thing beyond that foundational protocol. So when you take a cut and dry protocol and you do not touch base with a practitioner and you do not touch base with somebody who's literally here to be your resource, and then you're upset because there's some sort of imbalance in the body, and you're upset because things aren't working in the cookie cutter, cut and dry way that you expected? If you guys aren't in tune with your body, you just need someone to help you ask questions. That's all we are. That's all we are. Hey, Tori, I did my juice fast for 2 days and I'm starting to get headaches. What do you think I can do? I've already tried sauna-ing. I've tried dry brushing. I looked up how to support my adrenal glands. I'm not experiencing any rashes on my skin. I checked my filtration in my kidneys, my urine. Things look good. What do you think it could be? I've kind of vetted some options. Do you see the difference between relying on someone for your healing in that way versus being proactive in your own journey and using someone to be able to learn more about your own body? Do you see those two things? Are you relying on the Dr. Sebi protocol from someone with 200K followers that just sells these protocols out here and expects it to work when you guys have nobody to ask any questions to, right? And this is on this at this level, right? At this level, this matters. This matters because you're either relying on listening to this thing you saw on the internet, you're relying on listening to this person that has no idea what's happening in your body, you are relying on this thing to work and fix everything when you're not even in tune with your body to the point where you can ask questions or know what question to ask or understand or feel or recognize when that protocol is not working for you. Because when it's not working for you, the foundations of detox are the same for everyone, right? If you notice it's not working for you, then that means there's another component beyond the foundations that needs to be shifted or added. The only way you're going to get that information is having someone to be able to ask the question to, because you are not in tune with your own body yet, because this is the first detox you've ever done. That is why I do not give out any protocols to anybody who is not in contact with someone of my team. If you sign up for any protocol, you have minimum 3 months consistent contact with practitioners who are trained at the same level that I am. I don't offer it any other way. Anyways, sorry. Someone said, I love your passion. I realized I was just yelling and death glaring the phone for a second. My bad, everybody. I'm sorry. I feel this so much. I tried to explain the same for years now, but it's rare that someone cares. I know, because the only person that truly cares about you is you, right? I definitely care that y'all get healthy, you know? I definitely care that y'all get healthy because when all of us are healthy, there's no bad vibes. There's no bad vibes. There's no negative energy. When you are healthy and happy in your body and feel vibrant and you're strong and you don't have any weight bogging you down or these symptoms hurting you or chronic pain or all of these appointment after appointment after appointment and rap sheet of diagnostic names and rap sheet of medications. I'm hiccuping on my tea right now. When you don't have all that, it's good vibes. Oh my gosh, and I have to tell you guys another thing. Oh my gosh, this all comes together. It's crazy how everything comes full circle. And I don't even plan out my lives. I don't plan out my lives at all. I'm the type, I don't plan out my reels either, at all. Unless, of course, it was recorded. When you guys see the green screen reels, all of those are done in real time when I have the inspiration and recognition that that's the topic that has to be talked on. That's why those aren't so often anymore, because I'm just doing other things. But I don't plan my Instagram lives at all. I was in the car at 6:30 today driving, kind of thinking about what was in my head and was wow, all of these topics I'm thinking about come together under this. Are you relying on others for healing? And I was let me just go live on it. So on the topic of when you guys are healthy and healed and happy and strong and no medication and no crazy diagnosis names and no wasting time on appointment after appointment, it's good vibes. That's what I just said. Everywhere I go, every room that I step into, and every place that I am with family or friends, guess what the conversation always ends up revolving around? Always. The second people hear about what I do, where does the conversation go? I would love you guys to take a guess. There is not one gathering, whether it be family or friend gathering, in my whole experience over the last 3 years where I've actively done this. There is not a single gathering where people's health problems are not the topic of conversation. It's not even healing, food, or detox. It is everyone's health problems. So think about this. Think about this. And people don't even ask me, like, where do you get your protein then? Or like, why do you eat like that then? And the reason why they don't ask that is because they see what I look like, right? They see what I look like. They see the energy. They see the glow. They see the articulation of my voice. They see the clarity of my brain. They saw me sick 4 years ago in a hospital bed, and now they see the total opposite of that. That speaks for itself. So people don't even ask me, oh, is that working for you? Because obviously it's working, and they see that. So the topic of conversation is always people's health problems. And I started to clearly see something. I was like, oh, with my friends who are healthy, with my friends who cleanse and detox and live this life and care about their body and have done healing, we don't talk about this at all. We do not talk about health at all. And let me give you an example of this. When I was with my business mentor up in Canada for a retreat over 2 weeks, and I had him who has cleansed and detox and he lives this life. I had other friends who fully live this life. I had other friends who work at, or new friends, other people who were at this retreat, who work at some of the top healing centers in the country, right? Who have worked with some of the craziest healing modalities out there. None of us talk about health and health problems. None of us. Nobody. You want to know what we talk about? We talk about what's your personal record in the gym, what you doing for business, how your client's doing, where are we about to go driving this Tesla? That's my business mentor's Tesla, by the way, just funny. It's just like, are we going to go rent this car and go to this place? It's like, nobody talks about anything related to health in the body. We talk about meditation. We talk about the society today and how these crazy agendas are out here. We talk about what we're going to do with kids, homeschooling versus not. It's like nothing is around the health problems of the body. Nothing. None of it. Versus the other thing, the dichotomy of when I enter spaces of people who are sick, of people who have rap sheets of diagnoses, rap sheets of medications. When I enter those spaces, the only conversation is about health problems. And I almost said, because this was recent too, I was recently with someone who was a previous client of mine. She's my family as well. A previous client of mine, and she fell back into her old ways and noticed every single thing that we reversed in her body came back because she fell totally back into her old ways after she knows that we reversed everything, right? And she's frustrated with that. And she continues to try to ask me questions now as if the answers have changed, as if I didn't spend 4 months working with her, right? And I almost said out loud in this group of people, I almost said, how do you guys think that it feels when all I do every single day is talk about this to 100,000 people, and even in the time when I'm supposed to be with friends and family, we still talk about this, and I still am giving information out? Of course, I signed up for this. Of course I signed up for this. I recognize that. I know that. I know that. Okay? But it's just interesting for me to observe. I'm sharing this from a point of observation. And it doesn't quite feel as draining to me as someone might assume, because one, I'm really, really young, and like this physically doesn't feel draining. I think that it only feels draining to me when I've already taught somebody something and they like keep asking me for more before they've even done the first things that I taught them. Do you know what I'm saying? When people like need more or want more or keep thinking that they need to do more when they haven't even done the original stuff that I've said. You know what I mean? That's what's draining. And constantly hearing about health problems, like, when I'm in spaces like that, it almost really feels like because I get really quiet. I get really, really quiet sometimes, and I don't say a lot if people are around, because they're not necessarily talking directly to me. It's like the fact that they see what I do, and then the conversation of people just turns into like this and this and this wrongs with me, and this doctor and this appointment and this experience and all the things. They kind of just talk. They talk to each other. And I sit there and I get really quiet, and I almost can feel myself putting up armor around myself, because I have come to a place where I do not offer any unsolicited advice. To friends and family even, they need to formally come to me if they are ready for a journey like that, because I can't do it informally anymore. You know, it's draining when I do it informally. I notice that your approach is like you're duplicating yourself, not trying to create a dependency. Why would I want you guys dependent on me? Why would I want that? Why would I want that? Do you know how much work it would feel to be fully responsible for thousands of people's health? Can you imagine what that would feel like? Why would I want you dependent on me? I just want y'all to maintain yourself and be willing to be educated and do this long enough to the point where you're confident and comfortable. But the problem is most people think they can do that in a 3-month detox. That's the problem. People think their first ever detox can end up being 100% fruit juice fasting. Huh? People think their first ever detox can be 2 months of a parasite cleanse? Huh? No. What? I'm not even trying to duplicate myself either. I'm just trying to I don't even know how to say it. I'm just trying to get y'all to be able to do the art of healing your body. And the only way to make it an art is to have all of the information. Anyways, that was a long spiel I went on, I feel. Tori, do you get jab/flu shots? Absolutely not. I'll say it louder for the people in the back. Absolutely not. Hell no. Absolutely not. Do you get jab or flu shots? Why would I do that? Make a conscious, intentional effort for it to be long-lasting transformation. I love the way that you're articulating things, Liz. Amazing. I'm glad y'all are laughing at my response to that. LOL, how come? Because why would I do that? I haven't gotten sick in years. Why would I do that? My immune system is fully functioning at optimal efficiency. Why would I do that? Why would I destroy my immune system after I've worked so hard to get it to this point and just destroy it and completely knock it out with a jab or flu shot? Why would I do that? If y'all need to know more about that topic, you need to get a book called Timeless Secrets of Health and Rejuvenation by Andreas Moritz. Also, any sort of, I can't say the word out loud too many times because then I'm going to get banned from the internet. But this thing, right? Boop, boop. That. Heavy metals, neurotoxins, synthetic chemicals, straight into your bloodstream. Hits the liver, hits the kidney, hits the lymphatic system, breaks through the blood-brain barrier. Why would I do that? You guys don't need that if you're healthy. You don't even need that if you're not healthy. Stay strong, soul sister. Of course, that's crazy you get banned. Oh, y'all don't even know what it looks like on the back end of my account if that is said way too many times. The book, are you guys ready? Can someone maybe type it in the chat so I can pin it, the book? Timeless Secrets of Health and Rejuvenation by Andreas Moritz. Timeless Secrets of Health and Rejuvenation by Andreas Moritz is the book. Thank you so much, my friend. Pin. Perfect. There's the book, guys. All right, do we want to take a little intermission? Unfortunately, you guys can go to the bathroom while I'm on live because you can just take your phones around and you're not on camera, obviously. But I need to go to the bathroom from the amount of tea that I'm consuming because, you know, I'm helping my kidneys with this beautiful kidney blend. So I need to go to the bathroom. So can we take a little intermission? Are y'all okay with that? Okay, so I'm anticipating, you know, when I leave from the spot, I'm going to leave you guys right here. You're going to get a nice view of the couch. When I leave you guys to go to the bathroom, I anticipate a lot of people will drop off. If you drop off, that's totally fine. Just give me 2 minutes and then you can come back on. What would really help me is if you guys started to drop in the question box some new topics of conversation that you want to hit tonight. Okay? Yeah, you see me like jittering, like I have to pee so bad. So drop some questions in the question box and I'll be right back. Wow. Almost all of you guys are still here. That's cute. Okay. Marin, what is your topic of conversation? Screen potential clients? I don't know what that means. I don't know what that means. Okay, let's see. Hydration balance, chronic dehydration, quality water. All right, that's a good one. So, y'all need to be taking good sources of water. Your good sources of water, your top source of water is distilled water. The reason why your top source of water is distilled water is one of two things. One, a water distiller takes out every single impurity from any type of water. It burns off microbes and it leaves behind heavy metals. Okay, so if you guys have ever seen a distiller, you'll see it's like rusty left behind. Very rusty. Okay? And it burns off microbes, which is like viruses, bacteria, microbes. Okay? It burns it off because it gets so hot in the distiller. Now, distilled water as well is very, very beneficial for binding toxins in the body and drawing them out, right? Now, there's a lot of controversy around distilled water as well because they say it pulls minerals. Now, this is what happens in the body with distilled water. What happens in the body is your minerals are very electric. Your minerals are super electric, okay? Now, electric minerals, and I'm pretty sure I learned this from Jedi, my peer, minerals attract toxins, and as distilled water pulls minerals, it pulls toxins. If your diet is high enough in minerals and balanced enough in minerals, and your body is actually absorbing and you flood your body with so many minerals every single day, the problem of pulling minerals from distilled water is not an issue because it's actually beneficial that it's going to bind and pull toxins. Just sub to your YouTube. Are these lives posted there? Yeah, when I'm caught up. I don't have a massive team of tech people, so, when I'm caught up, yeah, they get posted there. Is that better than spring water in your opinion? Yes. Distilled water is better than spring water, in my opinion, as a daily majority of your water source, yeah. Is drinking distilled water that is bottled as good as owning a distiller? No, it's a waste of money buying it bottled. Would reverse osmosis water be the next best water for cooking and drinking? Reverse osmosis water is also fire. Nice. Yes. Good job. Amazing source. All right, let's see what else we got. Wow, the chat box is going crazy. Okay. How do you stay so disciplined? Do you ever feel left out? Okay. So, what a topic this is. What a topic this is. Do we want to address this now? Yeah, we can do this now. All right, guys. Let me address the do you ever feel left out first. This has gotten to a point where living this is a flex for me. It's a flex on other people. Because the way that I live my life and stay so rooted in the way that I live my life almost makes other people question their shit. Right? When I show up to Mexican restaurants out to dinner with family with food from the raw vegan spot, and I drove the 15 minutes to go get it to still be out to eat but bring my own stuff to the environment where they are, I feel the energy. I feel the energy of, in their heads, it's like, I should be doing that. And I am actively not doing that. And she is way too beyond my level of healthy. And I am just going to continue and ignore this and do my thing. Right? It's a flex. It's a flex. It's a flex when I say I'm not jabbed. It's a flex when I say to my family I don't take any medication. It's a flex when I say I don't have doctors. It's a flex when I say I don't need health care. Now I'm just saying, I'm going to have those things in case of emergency, right? But I don't use them ever. I don't need it. I don't need it. Unless in case of emergency. You see what I'm saying? I see it as a flex. It is a flex. It's me doing good for myself. I don't feel left out because it's a flex. And I want y'all to see it that way. It's not egotistical and narcissistic if you think that the way you're living your life is a flex, because it is. Because you are against the mainstream. You are doing something completely opposite of everybody else around you, and it's a flex because you're the one doing better. It's a flex to not drink alcohol around anyone else not drinking alcohol. Think about at a party, y'all. You know how at a party, there's the weed smokers and then there's the drinkers. You know how you have the drinking friends and the weed friends. You have those two people. There's those two groups of people at the party, right? And the drinkers are just knocked off their asses, blacked out, sloppy, slurring, dirty, drooling. They're always wet for some reason. Like, do you know what I'm trying to say? And then think about the weed smokers. You got the weed smokers, they're in a circle, they're vibed out, everybody's connecting and laughing and passing the bong to each other and vibing out. It's a flex to not be a drinker. Because even being a weed smoker is at a higher level than being a drinker. You see what I'm saying here? Do you see the analogy I'm almost trying to get at here? I know it's not perfect, but I know that we all can relate to that because I used to be a heavy stoner. Heavy stoner. Right? Sorry to go backwards, but what was the craziest detox slip? Undine, I'm going to tell you that craziest detox slip. I'll tell you that. For real though, okay? That's the do you ever feel left out question. Now the how do you stay so disciplined question. And this relates exactly to what Undine is saying. Sorry to go backwards, but what is the craziest detox slip? The craziest detox slip was I think it was at the end of last year, the end of 2022. I went to go visit family in North Carolina. Pretty sure that's when it was. I think that's when it was. It was not recent. And we went to a spot called Mellow Mushroom. And I had done my first detox already. I was on the enema game. I was studying iridology. I was in the middle of my practitioner training. I was in it. I was in this life. And I went to a spot with the family called Mellow Mushroom. And I got a personal pizza that was a vegetarian pizza, but had real cheese. I ate all of it because it was banging. Now, I don't want y'all to get it twisted. I think those foods are fire and they taste so good, and it is like just dopamine and sensation and cheese and barbecue and Latin food and pizzas and Italian and all the things, right? I do not disagree that those don't taste good. I do not disagree that those taste good. They taste fire. And I ate the whole personal pizza because it was banging. Okay? When I tell you, I was constipated for 8 days. I was out with family. I was in a state that I wasn't used to. I didn't have an enema bag. I could not go to the bathroom. My entire face started just puffing and drooping, and the bags underneath my eyes, because my kidneys were destroyed, were dark and puffy and inflamed. And I was so sad every single day, and I was frustrated, and all I did every morning to night was go to bed and wake up. How do I get myself to go to the bathroom? How do I do this? I can't do another night like this. I was belly massaging. I was inverting myself. I was pushing on my stomach. I was going for walks. I was trying to jump up and down because I didn't have an enema kit. I stopped eating all things other than greens and fruits. I lived off smoothies for 7 days and salads for 7 days after eating a personal pizza from Mellow Mushroom, and I was still constipated for 7 days while eating smoothies and salads because the whole personal pizza of cheese destroyed my body. That is how I stay so disciplined. Because the human body is not meant to digest those things. And my body has gotten to a point where it is clean enough, it can't even handle the things that humans aren't meant to digest. It cannot even handle the things that humans are not meant to digest. If you guys can easily pound cheeses and gluten pastas and breads and oils and fried food and salt, and you don't have any awareness of the reaction that's happening in your body, what that means is those foods are not meant to be digested for a human body. What that means is that you have lived this life for so long and your body has adapted to the junk that you've been putting into it to the point where it doesn't react. Can you think about that? To the point where your body does not react to some of the most triggering inflammatory foods out there because your shit is so suppressed and so triggered and so inflamed that it doesn't even matter at this point. Because it's just symptom after symptom after symptom just lurking. And your insomnia and the migraines and the fight or flight and the depletion and the endometriosis and the IBS and the diarrhea and the constipation and all those things are your body's way of trying to tell you you shouldn't be eating this. But you think that your body's not reacting because you're used to those symptoms and you don't know what it feels like otherwise. Now, guys, I'm about to say something that's also probably a hot take, and I don't want you to think that it's me being judgmental. However, I've recognized this analogy very clearly. Have you guys ever seen people and the lower halves of their legs or their feet, you almost see maybe like their skin is either super flaky or super gray or kind of has open lesions, or their heels are super cracked and the lower extremity of their body just does not look good? Have you seen that before? Or have you seen people where the back of their neck is super gray, kind of cracked, look like there's this ash over it? It just isn't the normal skin tone color of the rest of their body. Have you guys seen that? Yes, you have. Okay, so you've seen that. In relatives, 100%. So let me give you the analogy or the thing that I've put together to compare that to. Think about out in nature, right? When we have nature out here, we have animals that start to decompose. We have fruits and vegetables that start to decompose and break down. We have things that start to decompose and break down, and the outer flesh starts to be affected. We have things that start to mold. We have things that start to grow fungus on them, different bacterias. We have all these things out in nature. And for some reasons, humans have lost the idea that we are also nature, right? So when I see people's skin starting to deteriorate or rot away, right? I literally look at that and I'm like, oh, they're at a point where they're decomposing now from the inside out. And I know that's not a perfect example. I know it's not a perfect example, but I look at it and I'm like, oh, this has gone so far. Your health has gone so far and deteriorated so far that the fungal and the parasitic and the bacterial and the hydration are so imbalanced, and the circulation and the blood flow and the lymph flow and the waste is so imbalanced to where you are now manifesting something that looks like decomposing from the outside. That's just what I have in my awareness. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying that's any sort of medical explanation. I'm not saying that's any sort of fact or validness. I'm just posing to you guys what I notice after seeing so many people's bodies and almost being able to tell exactly what's happening inside them based on what's happening on their outside, because I can do that now, which is kind of to my detriment as I'm dating, right? Kind of to my detriment as I'm meeting people, because I can see what's happening in their internal from their external. But whatever, right? Sorry, I needed a deep breath for a second. Let me stretch my neck a little bit. Whew. Okay, let's continue on. Let us continue on. Do you need a shower filter to heal? No, I have not lived under a shower filter in a year. That's the last thing to invest your money into. Focus on the mineral supplementation like spirulina and wheatgrass first. Examples of detox symptoms. Rashes. Well, you're always drinking, ? Is there a point where you could drink too much liquid? No. Why do you think that? Nope. Not at all. Examples of detox symptoms. Let's see. Headaches and nausea, rashes on the skin, loose stools. Those are the ones that are like super major. Anything coming out the skin, like cysts or lipomas, can rise to the surface. Rarely people vomit. Very rarely. Now, a detox symptom, I was talking about menstrual cycles earlier. Technically, that's a detox symptom, but I don't consider it unless you are depleted. I don't consider the rebalancing and the shifting of your menstrual cycle to be a negative detox symptom as long as you are nourished. You know what I'm saying? So we go through detox, heal and restore our body, then what? How do we eat for maintenance? Oh, look at this. This is exactly why I create the containers that I do. Because after you detox, you continue to work with people to figure out your balance moving forward. You can do it intuitively. Of course you can do it intuitively. But after somebody's first detox, they usually haven't cultivated the relationship with their body enough to be able to go off and do everything correctly without depleting themselves. It is an art form, and I want you guys to learn, right? How do we eat for maintenance? It's completely based on your body, which is why we have teams of people to help you through every phase of the process. That's why. So if you're ready for something like that, just let me know. I'm in Chicago and have Googled farms to get foods from, but I don't know who I can actually trust. Okay, and this starts to go into feeling into the energy and the vibes, right? You go to the farm, you say, hey, I'm looking for a continued relationship with the farm where I can get great food. I really want to support you guys. Is the owner here? Can I say, hey, are you guys organic? What do you guys use as your pest repellent? Are you guys a no-till? Here are the questions you should ask to a farmer. Because I worked on a farm. So I kind of know what to vet, right? So here are the questions you can ask. You can call the farm if you want to, but I recommend showing up in person to the farm because they usually give farm tours, or they usually have a farm store, or they usually have something open to the public. Even if it's a little shack on the front of their farm, it's usually something is open to the public. I would show up, or I would drive by the farm. I would see the vibes. See the vibes. Hey, can I talk to your main farmer? Can I talk to your farmhand? Can I talk to one of your farmhands? Right? Hey, I'm looking for a continued relationship with a farm. It's really important to me to eat high quality food. I just wanted to hear about your guys' growing practices. Are you organic? That's your first question. Are you organic? Your next question is, what do you guys use for your pest repellent? Tori, how long did it take you to complete your iridology course? I have been studying iridology for a year and a half straight. I've done two mentorships for iridology and seen hundreds and hundreds of eyeballs. So the first one, if you want to get hooked up, my mentor is Iridology with Haley on Instagram, or iridology.with.haley, Hayley. Her iridology course is the exact place you should go. It's the best iridology course offered on the internet. It is the most in-depth iridology course that you can get at the lowest price. You can use the word Detox Tori for $100 off your enrollment in her iridology course, and you can finish that at do at your own pace. I studied in and out, and I finished it the fastest out of all of her students. Okay, let me continue. So questions for your farmers is, are you organic? What do you use as your pest repellent? Your third question is, are you regenerative? Regenerative means that they restore the mineral composition in the soil every time they do a new crop. Okay? Are you organic? What is your pest repellent? Are you regenerative? If the answer is yes to organic and regenerative, and you like the vibes of the farm, and you feel like the farmhand is being trustworthy, because we all can pick up on people's energy, then it's a go ahead. You don't have to be too skeptical. They're farmers. They're already outside of the mainstream a little bit if they say they're organic. You know what I'm saying? And if they're not a massive industry farm, if they're like a local farm or a family farm or something in your small town and you're not in a major industrial, farming facility, then you're okay. Those are your questions for your farmers. Can you recommend a cleanser/moisturizer for face care? Or would you say water? LOL. My case is a little bit different because my skin purges still from my face completely. The lymphatic system of my brain still has a lot going on in it. I use witch hazel as the first layer of cleansing. In the shower, Living Libations is a good brand. They have an oil cleanser. It's a very clean cleanser. It's hard for me to share like my routines because it's very different for me. You know what I'm saying? Like my face has a lot of scarring on it from like 2 years of chronic acne. So like the stuff that I use is more aesthetic right now than it is super clean and pure. You know what I'm trying to get at? Like there's some places where you kind of pick and choose, and I'm trying to clear out some scarring, so it's a little more unique. I'll get back to you guys when I have a very clean, super scar healing routine. Can some foods be neutral, like corn or beans, not from a can? So your corn needs to be non-GMO corn, should be sweet corn, okay? Any corn in your grocery store is going to be GMO corn. You should find a corn farmer, organic corn farmer if you want to eat corn. Otherwise, corn is inflammatory. Are peanuts really bad? Yeah, don't have peanuts. Don't have peanuts. If you're craving peanuts, you just have something else. Almonds, walnuts. Do cacao with walnut or cacao with almonds. Ooh, you could do, cacao with maple butter and some almonds. That will satisfy your peanut craving. Go find some maple butter, cacao, melt it down, and dip your nuts in that. And then beans. Beans can be neutral if you soak them. So beans should be soaked because they have a layer of phytic acid around the outside, and it's really, really hard on digestion. So the human body might get gassy or bloated when they're dealing with the phytic acid. So beans can be neutral if you soak them. Yeah. No peanut butter, question mark? Nope. How about cashew butter? Absolutely. Peanuts are so inflammatory. I don't even know why they're that inflammatory, but they are just triggering to the body when you're trying to heal something. Now, don't get me wrong, guys. I talk about healing chronic disease. If you're on this page, you're trying to heal from something. I know you are. So I'm telling you how to do that, right? Peanuts are not for healing. Peanuts are not for healing. What about alkaline water? What about alkaline water? Alkaline water is, if it's marketed as alkaline water, then they have made it alkaline by adding synthetic minerals to it. Spring water is naturally alkaline, right? Naturally alkaline. If something is marketed as alkaline water, coconut water is naturally alkaline. If they have marketed something as alkaline water, it means they have pumped it up with synthetic minerals to give it a profile, a mineral profile that makes it alkaline. But because those added minerals are not naturally occurring, they're synthetic, the body does not absorb that. The body does not like to absorb any of that. These are good questions, y'all. I've almost been on 2 hours. That's crazy. Sorry, look at us. We're now at the 20% battery mark, and I've been on for almost 2 hours. What herbal tea is the best bang for toast and healing? I'm not sure what toast means. Your herbal tea, that's your best combination. Ooh, taste? Red raspberry tastes decent. Like a red raspberry, oat straw, and alfalfa. That's a pretty gentle flavor and has a ton of minerals. Is there a reason why you have a red light on? Yeah, because when I go live, I don't want to blast myself with a ring light, but I still needed decent lighting, so it's red light, so I don't destroy my eyeballs with a bright-ass ring light. That's why I have a red light on. What about hydrogen water? What is that? What is that? That's all some new technology bullshit. You know what I'm saying, y'all? I don't deal with that stuff. I don't deal with that stuff. I deal with naturally occurring things. Ancient medicine. Earth medicine. I do not biohack the body. I do not use any sort of fancy new things out there. I do not do any of that. I use the earth for what it has provided. And the reason why I am so strong in that statement and I do not resonate with any new natural regenerative health techie things out there is because I've had the craziest Western medical treatment in my body at a very young age, chemotherapy, and using only the earth, I have significantly cleared it out of my body. Colonics are an enema. I guess a colonic is a new type of techie thing, but cleaning out the colon with an enema is ancient. Egyptians used enemas. Egyptians created enemas. Egyptians did iridology. You see the statues or the heads, the busts of Egyptian, like pharaohs and stuff. You see the eyes on that art? The eyes have intricate details. The eyes are so prominent. So prominent. Have you created any content on hernias? I've had an umbilical hernia. I've had it for 15 years. You have a bone and connective tissue weakness. You have a bone and connective tissue weakness. Restore absorption, restore your minerals, clean out the lymph of acidic waste, support the parathyroid gland. And that should heal up. Castor oil packet, poultice it. I can't really talk about any more specifics. I have no clue what's happening in your body. Ooh, what is this word? Do you have any thoughts on moxibustion? I knew this word a while back when I was a weed smoker. I need somebody to define moxibustion again for me. I think it has to do with something like that. Smoking herbs or something. I saw your Amazon list has a silicone and a stainless steel enema. Is there one you recommend more? Silicone for traveling, stainless steel for home use. Having both is great. If you're going to prioritize one, then I would get the stainless steel one if you're going to be home. Someone says I have a call scheduled. Amazing. You'll talk to my team, get some info, see if detox aligns for you. I love that. I love that. Moxibustion. A TCM treatment. Oh, right. What do? Do they put, is it mixed with acupuncture? Mixed with acupuncture or something about burning something or heating something into the skin? I don't have this at the top of my head. I'm not all knowing of the Chinese medicine. Oh, I have autoimmune called ITP. Did you just join the live? That's what I had. I was talking about it. Wow, that's crazy. Guys, remember I was talking about my whole autoimmune journey earlier and how I had chemo left and right and steroids and blood transfusions and couldn't walk for 2 weeks. And I had ITP. And now there's someone in the chat with ITP. I know it's low platelets in your blood, and I've healed from it completely. Any ideas? Absolutely, I have ideas. I healed myself from that completely. Completely. You got your spleen removed? Yup. Of course they did that. That's crazy. Yeah, I healed from that completely. 100% healed from ITP. So, any ideas? I have every single idea. So I don't know what they've done to your body. I don't know, like, beyond that. ITPs, like, it's a pretty intense thing, especially if you've gotten chemo, right? I, of course, know that to the absolute fullest because that's exactly what I had. So I would just tell you to start, like, did you change your diet yet? And that's as far as I can go, because I don't know if you're on chemo. I don't know if you're on meds. I don't know anything about you and your body, and that's super important when we're dealing with stuff like that and you've gotten organs removed. Are all viruses able to heal, and where do you start? I believe they are, absolutely. I know so many people who have cleared out anything under the sun. And where to start is, did you change your diet yet? That's where to start. Wow, I have really almost been going 2 hours. I feel like my head, I'm getting a little, my claw in my brain was a little tight. All natural fruit and veggies diet. Okay. Also nuts, also seeds, also nut milks, also seed milks, right? If people are just starting, quinoa's nice. Just transitioning, some sweet potatoes, good. What about the smoking and stuff? How did you quit? Oh, now we're getting into other facets of my life. Wow. Other facets of my life. Okay, how did I quit? I smoked weed from age 15 to age 22. To 22, I smoked weed. I smoked weed every single day, pretty much, from age 19 to 22, right? When I started to find this life, I did not think that weed smoking was as big of an issue until I learned about the elimination pathways of the body. The second I learned that the lungs are one of the most major elimination pathways of the body, and we eliminate 70% of our toxins from the body through our breath, it gets transformed and eliminated via the breath. When I learned that fact, I stopped cold turkey, because I'm the type of person that when I hear something and I learn something that is so compelling against the habit that I have that I know is not that good for me, I immediately cannot move forward in ignorance. Sorry, I stuttered. I immediately cannot move forward in ignorance, knowing that I am putting more toxins into my lungs and impeding the elimination of toxins via my breath. And on top of that, I am interrupting the oxygen delivery to the rest of my body, and oxygen is required to heal anything. I just ate 2 double cheeseburgers from Burger King SMH, and you're watching this live as you pounded down 2 double cheeseburgers. You are watching this live. Doesn't that seem like moving forward in ignorance? I'm not judging. I'm just being the person to pose this to you. Also, guys, I'm at an angle right now, so if I look off to the side, it feels very philosophical if I talk out here, but I'm answering you, Anti-inflammatory diet now, was in the hospital. Yeah, my friend with ITP, we just got to get you help, You just got to do the whole thing. I did it so I could happily guide you along the exact steps to do it, but you just need to be willing to do it and take guidance from someone who actually healed themselves of the exact thing that you have. And I can even tell you if this resonates at all. Are you on Rituxan or rituximab? Are you on prednisone? Are you getting plasmapheresis? I know these words because I lived that. Anyone who had this problem knows exactly what I'm saying. And I know it's rare, and I know you don't know many people with it, but I promise you, if you really want to get rid of it, you're gonna have to do the work, because I did it, and it is work. And that's the only reason I can show up here on the internet and talk about this, because I did it. Not anymore. I was going, I know you were. I'm glad you're not doing it anymore, because there is another way. There's absolutely another way. Tips on fixing gout. Can we remove salt? Can we remove salt and starch? Not anymore. No meds now, but always nervous about my counts. Well, if you're nervous about your counts, and then you're not doing anything to actively heal your body, you're going to continue to be nervous about your counts because you're not doing anything. I'm not saying you're not doing anything. I'm just talking in general, right? I'm just talking in general. Bedtime for me. Good night, Tori. Thank you. The I love you is cute. Praying for your continued strength as you go through these good works. Thank you so much for sending good vibes. Tori is gold. Sign up. It's worth everything. Ovidia, I love your support always. And only the people who work with me speak for it. I can't sit up here and be like, guys, I know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can't just say that. It's like the people who actually work with me and talk to me and do consultations and we go through the steps and we do all the things, like, they know. So I know you get it. I would be happy to support you in this journey, but it's like such a big thing to tackle that I kind of can't even put my energy energetically into it right now on live, because it, one, hits home way too much. And the last time I had a consultation with someone with ITP, I started crying because it just hits. It hits so hard. It really does hit so hard. So I just can't energetically get into it on live, because we need to get you to the highest form of healing. You know what I mean? And that is a task. So, I mean, I can do it, and I did it for myself, and I know how to do it, but I can't walk you through that on live. Good night, Marin. Thanks for joining. Thanks for joining, my friend. What are your favorite remedies for acne? Well, I'm in a place where acne is not cleared by a remedy, okay? And it's funny because I see some skin coaches or detox coaches or whoever, and they handle the skin, right? But their only modality to do that is a juice fast or a raw food diet or fruit fasting. You know what I'm saying? And it's funny, it's kind of interesting to me too, because I had crazy chronic acne. I still have acne, and I've done mono fruit and juice fast that I can count on both hands, and it still isn't the quick remedy to purging my lymph when you have deep lymphatic and liver imbalances, right? Especially from chemo. That's what it is. Chemo has just destroyed the body, right? So if you're someone whose body probably hasn't been destroyed, then you can sauna, you can move your body, you can dry brush your face, hydration, chew your food a lot, keep it easy on digestion, don't eat late at night. Yeah. In my case, it's very different. Very different. I have to do a list of 30 things every day to make sure my lymphatic system is okay and my liver is okay. And sometimes that's just not possible. You know what I'm saying? So if it's not a quick remedy for you, then I get it. But if your body has not been destroyed, then these things will probably work for you. Wait, you dry brush your face? Would that not tear your face? No, you get a face dry brush. You get a face dry brush. It has much more gentle bristles. It's great for your face. What is on your list of 30 things? Oh my gosh. Wow. Okay. This is the list of things that I have to do every single day if I want my lymphatic system and my liver to be so clear enough to where I do not break out from all the chemo. You know what I'm saying? So here we go. Let me stretch my neck a bit. This positioning of like looking this way with my body this way is not great. Okay. Enema, daily. Coffee enema, probably often. Chamomile enemas, also probably often. Saunas, daily. Exercise, daily. My face has to be sweating in the sauna, daily. Castor oil packing, daily. Dry brushing, daily. Dry brushing my face, daily. Massaging essential oil blend of lavender, thyme, I don't even know what else is in that, daily. Changing pillowcases on my pillows, daily. Never touching my face, daily. What else I got? No oils in my diet, daily. High raw food, a gallon of water per day. Herbal teas for the kidney and the liver every single day. My herbal capsules every single day. Spirulina daily. Wheatgrass daily. Are you still on chemo? No, hell no. I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing if I was still on chemo. What? How could I still be on chemo and talk to you guys about natural healing? That makes no sense. No, I'm not on chemo at all. I don't need chemo at all anymore because of what I do. And there's a reason I went through that. Thank you for the condolences, but there's a reason. The reason is because I turned into this human who's in front of you right now. But the acne is still the aftermath of chemo. So right now, I don't even claim myself healing from any sort of autoimmune or healing from anything. The thing that I'm healing from is the aftermath of chemotherapy. That is what my healing journey is. Chewing my food at least 30 times every single bite of solid food. A pound of greens per day. Spirulina, wheatgrass, daily. Sea moss, often. Is that enough? No oils, really? What do you think about the benefits of olive oil? There are no benefits of olive oil if you're dealing with disease. If you're dealing with chronic disease, there's no benefit to olive oil. I'm not saying you have to avoid it forever, because there are probably benefits when your liver is actually not overburdened. There are no true benefits to olive oil unless your body is clean. I do not know a single person who has successfully healed themselves to this extent from chronic disease while using olive oil as a healing modality. It overburdens the liver and the gallbladder to produce a lot of bile. Oil is not natural. Oil is not occurring in nature. You do not find 100 avocados in a row to press into olive oil in nature. Have you done gallbladder and liver flushes? Of course I have. Of course I've done that. I couldn't be on the internet talking about what I do unless I've tried every single thing to be able to answer y'all's questions. You see what I'm saying? Supplements. L-lysine, no supplements. Spirulina and wheatgrass are my supplements. And sea moss sometimes. I do not take any isolated supplements. Like I said, to each their own body, right? To each their own body. L-lysine, incredibly helpful for viral outbreaks. Incredibly helpful for viral outbreaks. If you guys need help, like herpes protocols, viral protocols, flu protocols, all the things, there's a book called Herbs of Grace by Farida Sharon. There are all of your acute protocols in there. Acute flare-up or condition protocols are in there. Isolated supplements can be helpful in those types of situations, but as a daily occurrence, you don't need to be isolate supplementing. With an individual magnesium or an individual calcium or an individual amino acid, the reason why you don't do that is because it competes for absorption with the other things you're taking. This is crazy. Do y'all see this comment right here? This is actually hectic. This is hectic. Oh my goodness. Guys. I hate having to block people, y'all. I really hate it. But it gets out of hand. Hello? It gets out of hand. Thank you for the compliment. Thank you for your inference and your assumption. But like, hello? We're trying to teach out here. Be respectful. Herbs of Grace by Farida Sharan is her name. Farida space Sharan. Farida Sharan. Great book. You should read it cover to cover. Like you said, the internet is a crazy place. Letitia, it is absolutely a crazy place. I'm pretty sure that's you, unless I have you confused with someone else. Can sea moss help with goiters and thyroid nodules? Okay, it's like a two-part question. It's like, if you're not going to do any other of the work, the sea moss doesn't matter. Aisha, thank you. Yes, Aisha. You and another client of mine have similar vibes, and you're both part of my containers in that way. Aisha. I know your last name too now. Thank you for reminding me. How's your detox going, by the way? I watched the recordings, and I love your energy in there. What was I about to say? Oh yeah, the sea moss helping with thyroid nodules. Yeah, if you're not going to do all of the other work, oh yeah, okay. Of course with the other work, yeah, I'm not going to say it's like the cherry on top of the hat. I'm not going to say it's like the thing that's going to heal the thyroid. I'm going to say it's great to include in the routine. You feel me? Sometimes even with thyroid imbalances, we have to go to the root cause of the problem and start to support the pituitary gland, which is actually in the brain. Do you wash your veggies with water since they're already organic? I do a little baking soda or maybe an apple cider vinegar. Aisha, good. I'm glad to hear. Oh, I do want to tell you. I watched one of the recordings recently, and your question is one of the reasons why I'm doing a workshop on Sunday, the 8th, I think, the group workshop in the Healing Blueprint. Because I was looking through the recordings, and your question was asking about like fat at this level of detox, and you have your raw vegan spot near you, and you like the seeds and the nut milks or like those things in your smoothies or whatever. So I wanted to clarify this, which I'm going to talk about in this workshop, but I might as well tell you now. So one of my coaches was explaining how totally like seeds and nut milks, perfectly fine, like add them in smoothies if you want to. Now, when you were saying, you posed the question, because I know you have a little more information, you posed the question and you were talking about like at this level of detox or on parasite cleansing is okay to have these things. Now there's two facets to this question, okay? And you're right intuitively feeling that high amounts of nuts and seeds during parasite cleansing or at deeper levels of detox should drop down, right? You intuitively feel that. You've probably heard from people that that's what's supposed to happen. However, the way that we're coaching, and the reason why is because most people are this is most people's first detox, and we've learned very quickly how depleted most people get, okay? Now, if this is your first ever detox, don't feel like you have to heal everything in one go. We do not want people cutting and restricting fat at excess levels. Now, if you choose to come off of denser fats, like the cashews, like the almonds, like the tahini, you know what I'm saying? And you want to keep some hemp and some chia during those periods of times because you feel like you're ready for it. That's amazing. That's kind of how to drop it down a fat level while still keeping the nourishment instead of cutting it completely at that level of detox, because like we've been hearing a lot about fat is bad, fat is bad, fat is bad. That's not the case at higher levels of detox for women, especially on their first detox. Do you know what I'm saying? It's the level of nourishment and depletion that we need to maintain, but you can still come off of very dense sources of fat at that level of detox, like cashew, tahini, walnut, almonds, and maintain the lighter fat sources like hemp and chias. Okay? Aisha, if you're still there, I know that was a long spiel, but I saw your recording and I literally was like, okay, yep, I'm doing a workshop on the 8th because of that question, so I might as well just did it here. Okay, hearing this is very helpful. Yeah, and I figured it was really helpful, and it's kind of, you know, when you're not talking to me, I'm the one that has seen experience from a lot of people, and, I kind of see the vision of the way it works, and I understand what it looks like to get really, really depleted, which is kind of what ended me up in this space, is to make sure I'm not, I don't detox people with depletion as a problem, so yeah, like the answer of like totally keep all your fat sources is not a bad answer. It's definitely not, especially for someone's first detox. But I can teach you the levels of it at this phase, because in the future, like for me, when I do my detoxes, I do cut out fat when I'm in high levels of detox for a little bit of periods of time when I'm fasting. Okay, I come in and out, right? But I don't go long periods without fat at all. Okay, sorry. I had to clarify that. Thank you for listening. Starting to have some old issues creep up again. Didn't think it would happen. Yeah, exactly. Because what happens is these things are suppressed in our bodies and we're literally shaking them up to move them out. So having similar symptoms like you've dealt with that have been suppressed into your body, them coming out is the only way to move through them. Picture them literally rising and releasing. Isn't coffee/caffeine not good for you? Yeah, it's not at all. Who said that it was? How do you feel about alcohol tinctures? Alcohol tinctures are super, super potent, and when you take them, you should be taking them and letting them absorb in the mouth, and they absorb into your bloodstream extremely quickly before they even hit the liver. There is your feeling about best detox program. You're such a great teacher. Thank you so much. Thank you so, so much. I hope you are doing well. Thanks, Tori, for assisting. I love you, W3, for real. Thanks, Tori, for assisting me in regaining my sense of smell. I might say that every time I catch your live from now on because I'm acknowledging how amazing that is. The mentorship is everything. Guys, like, I have people watching my lives who really worked with me, like really, really worked with me. We've gone through 3 months, 4 months together, continued mentorship, continued relationships. I love it. I'm so glad. Sorry for lack of context, but you mentioned coffee enemas. Yeah, coffee up your colon is very, very different from taking it in here, because it's not going through the digestive process. I would check out a book called Gerson Therapy. You can heal cancer from 5 coffee enemas per day. Extremely good for detoxing the liver. Stimulates glutathione, #1 detoxification enzyme from the liver. Stimulates glutathione. Very different from drinking it. Thoughts on IV nutrient therapy? Whack. Do you know why that is? Because they use synthetic nutrients straight to your bloodstream. Synthetic nutrients. What are your thoughts on gravity colonics? I don't know what a gravity colonic is specifically, but colonics are fabulous. Incredible. Got your guide. Yay, that's exactly where to start for ITP. Start the guide. Start to shift your diet, and then from there we can take it to the next level. I would also make sure you get minerals, especially from healing from chemo. So if you can grab like spirulina or wheatgrass or one of the power shakes that are in the guide, everything's linked there for you. I would definitely start, my friend, getting minerals back into your body. What's the book called again to heal cancer with coffee enemas? It's called The Gerson Therapy, Gerson. Green coffee for enema, or do you use roasted coffee? Organic, light roast coffee. Preferably you buy the beans and you grind them yourself. Sorry guys, I'm on 10% battery now. I lasted quite a long time. This has been like a 2 hour and 15-minute live so far. I'm going to keep going for a little bit longer because I'm feeling the vibes. I might have to pee again though because I'm down another almost liter of tea. Can you guys think about this? This is already almost half a gallon of tea I've had in this 2 hours on this live. Y'all see the volume of stuff I'm consuming. Really, for real. This is how you do it. You don't just do little sips here and there. You don't just do smoothies with one banana, a little handful of blueberries, and some spinach. No. The smoothies are like 3 bananas, 2 cups of mango, 2 cups of cherry, 2 tablespoons spirulina, 2 tablespoons wheatgrass, even some herbal tea as the base of the smoothie. It is like potent. What does my tea jug look like? That's my electric tea kettle. My tea jug, and I kept pouring in. Here. Wish I could drink that much. My bladder can't handle it. Your bladder can't handle it is because absorption is not restored, and the only way to restore absorption is to move through it. The only way to restore absorption is to literally just do it. And if your bladder can't handle it, then we probably have a connective tissue weakness. So we want to restore the connective tissue of the body. And how do you do that? You do that with herbs, which means more tea. It sucks. I know the answer sucks. You will pee a lot in the beginning because your body is not absorbing it. And that's okay. Eventually, you will not pee like crazy. I promise you. What kind of tea? Raspberry? This is a kidney tea blend. What's in here? This is nettle, uva ursi. I think it's alfalfa in there. Juniper berries. I'm not sure what else. It's from one of my friends. She's an herbalist. She's fab. Wish I could drink that much. My bladder can't handle it. I said that already. Please save this live, of course. What kind of tea is the best? If you're going to start anywhere for tea, your red raspberry. Had a weak bladder since birth. Oh. All right, Gina. Then, I mean, we could still strengthen your connective tissue. You know what I'm saying? We could still do that. Because that just means you've had a weaker connective tissue. Like your constitution, it's called, you are genetically prone to needing connective tissue support. Just like in my case, my whole family has manifested acne in some way or another. Like crazy acne, right? Now, when I had chemo, of course it's going to trigger in that same pathway because I had something to trigger in that pathway, right? Genetically, we are prone to things, but when we have something in the body that either triggers the pathway or allows that pathway to manifest, then, that's where the genetic stuff comes in. But we can do things to support that extra. You want to support things extra when you know that they're your genetic pathway, which is why now I have to do that list of 30 things or whatever to maintain my skin because that's my pathway. I need extra support for my genetic weakness, right? Any tips for treating NAFLD? You guys think I know what all of these acronyms are from the medical field? No way. Red raspberry leaf. Yes, you're correct. Is this Priscilla? What's up, girl? Red raspberry leaf, nettle, and oat straw are the three. If you're going to start with any, they are safe for, I think, every person's body. I think the only reason that I recommend those is because they are safe for almost every human being. But if you're on medication, please check interactions. If you are on medication, you need to make sure that you are checking herbal interactions. Non-fatty liver disease. Wow. Yes, hey, wow, you remember my name. Yeah, of course, I know you. We've met. We've talked for an extended period of time. Of course I know you. Okay. Non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. What does your diet look like? Is it high in oils? Is your liver being overburdened? Have you had a history of medications? What's your intervention with Western medical treatments? Are you drinking tap water? What does your water source look like? Are you doing castor oil packs? Are you using liver supporting herbs like yellow dock, burdock root? That's where all the questions go. You know, I don't know anything about you or your body, so I kind of just spit off the questions that I would have to ask. I've had this thick white coating on my tongue that won't go away. Is that possibly due to parasites? That means you have a fungal overgrowth, my love. You have a fungal overgrowth that starts in the gut and it has gone systemic. Fungus has breached the gut lining, entered the lymph, and now goes throughout the whole body. So yeah, it's called thrush, right? And yeast is also the same word as fungus. Yeah, it's the same thing. So yeah, fungus. We got to clear your body out from fungus, my friend. What about cherry blossom tea? Go for it. Yes, we did. Still amazed since I know you talk to so many people and literally so helpful. I slowly changing my diet. I have already seen crazy results. Guys, Priscilla and me met on one of my totally free live sessions. I do like kind of Zoom room video sessions. If you guys don't know it all, then you'll see soon eventually. I'm going to do more now that I actually like live in a place, right? And she came to one of my free sessions and she came and was like, hey, Tori, I follow your guide. I've done this and this and this and this and this. And now that I've done all of this, here's my question to take me to the next level. She already applied everything she possibly could before she asked the question to then take it to the next level. And now she's applying the answer that I gave her to take it to the next level, to then take it to more levels. And she doesn't even work with me one-on-one. Everything that I offer for free takes advantage of all the opportunities I offer for free to talk to me, to get coaching with me, is in my communities and is already seeing results just based on applying this, like actually applying it to her life. And then she knows exactly what question to ask because she already did all the other foundational steps, so she didn't have to worry about questions about that. Because she felt it in her body and she did it in her body. See what I'm saying? There's two groups of people out here. There really is two groups of people out here. Anyways, Priscilla, that's why I know who you are. Because I know our exact interaction and I know who you are. Like, it's vibes. The energy of those type of people, it resonates so much. Because it's like, it makes me feel fulfilled. Super fulfilled. Can we eat mushrooms on the detox? What detox are you on, love? I don't know. On my detox? You can start off by doing that if you want to, but when we're actively parasite cleansing, I wouldn't recommend doing mushrooms during that period of time. But you can totally do it during transitioning, and you can totally have mushrooms afterwards in maintenance as well. Of course. But like I said, there's stuff that calls for a time and place, and when you do things intentionally and place things intentionally. Is the guide you're referencing in the community? It's linked in my bio as the very first thing there. It's called Transition Guide. It is also in the community. I think it's in the module called Helpful Resources. I'm pretty sure it's in that one, and you'll see all of my PDFs there. Like all the recipe books and all the free guides and stuff. But it is also linked in my bio. It is also in the community. I joined your community 2 days ago and I'm working up the steps. Thank you for the energy you put into the world. It is appreciated. Thank you so much for the vibes. I'm glad to have my videos not just being put out into the ether for no reason. I love that you watch it, and thanks for being there. Thanks for being there, and thank yourself for being there. Alright guys, I feel like I'm slowing down. My phone also might die, and I need to save this live. So, with that being said, this was a long one today, 2.5 hours. That is absolutely insane. I haven't done that in a long time. And obviously you guys see me 9:45 at night after 2.5 hours of talking, energized, lit up, high vibes. Like, who has energy for that when they're sick? Nobody. So when you're healthy, you have energy. Morning to night. All right, y'all. I'm going to go now. Have a good night. Thanks for watching. Bye.